Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We have a slobber knocker of a duel here for you. It's the Gaia the Dragon Champion deck versus the Unstoppable Beaver Warrior deck, and today we're just going to find out who is the better deck. So the Gaia Champion deck's going to be going first. He's going to activate the reinforcement of the army, normal summon Stratos after adding it, and then he's going to add an elemental hero, Prisma. Then he's going to discard his King of the Swamp. He's going to add a Memorization to his hand, and then he's going to use a Pot of Duality, so he is just doing all types of cards first turn. He's going to add that Fusion Recovery to his hand for his plays later, so far he's at a pretty good advantage of a +1. Then he's going to set the 3 back row, and he's going to end his turn, so he passes over to the Beaver Warrior player. The Beaver Warrior player is going to activate Tinky, and he's going to add the Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Bear. So he's going to summon that said Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Bear, and he is going to call his effect and target the Stratos. Does the Gaia the Dragon Champion deck have a response? He responds with a safe zone, so he cannot be destroyed by Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Bear. So the Beaver Warrior player is going to set 4 back row and pass his turn. Now, the Gaia the Dragon Champion deck is thinking, God of Games controlling that deck, so we're going to start saying him from now on. And Elemental Hero Prisma is summoned. He activates the effect, revealing the Gaia the Dragon Champion, and he's going to send Gaia the Fierce Knight from his deck to the graveyard, setting up his plays for later. So he's going to attack with Stratos into the Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Bear, surprisingly going through, and then he's going to attack and poke for 1700 with the Prisma, then pass his turn. So the Beaver Warrior player makes some pretty stupid moves here, because he hasn't played DN in a very long time and did not realize that you couldn't do certain things. He's too used to DevPro, I'm afraid. So he's going to activate Call of the Hunt, getting back the Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Bear, and then he is going to overlay into Sympathy de Jin, thinking that he can target the Stratos, when he's obviously mistaken. But he's going to attack over the Prisma, hopefully. Yes, he attacks over the Prisma, dealing 100 damage, then ending his turn. Now, will the Stratos point for point into the Djinn? He will, but Beaver Warrior tries to use Deprison, then realizes that he cannot. Well, yeah, so Djinn detaches the material, and we're all good. Beaver Warrior player draws into a Gem Merchant, which is pretty useless. And yeah, the Beaver Warrior player makes another silly mistake because, yeah, once again, he's not used to Dueling Network after a very long time. He hasn't played the entire format, and this is pretty much his first duel since. And yeah, it wasn't very smart of him, so he's just going to redo that and all that good stuff. So he's going to turn the Djinn into defense mode, ending his turn. Then the God of Games player is coming up. He sets 1 back row. Does he make a play here? No, he does not. He ends his turn. The Beaver Warrior player draws into another Gem Merchant, which is very unfortunate because it's very dead at this point. Now, the God of Game player is getting a lot of cards in his hand, so he might want to start making a move. So the Elemental Hero Prisma is summoned. He then looks into his extra deck, revealing Gaia the Dragon Champion, and then discards a Curse of Dragons. So now he is setting up his graveyard even harder, while the Beaver Warrior player has not done much at all. Well, the Gaia the Dragon Champion deck, whatever, activates Summoner's Art and adds a Curse of Dragon. No, he adds the Gaia the Fierce Knight. Then he activates Polymerization to get Gaia the Dragon Champion. So the Dragon Champion was actually summoned, which is very surprising. And yeah, so he activates Fusion Recovery, adding back a Prisma and a Polymerization, which is pretty nice, a nice +1 for no absolute reason. So the Gaia the Fierce Dragon thingamajigger activates Safe Zone, and the Beaver Warrior player responds with Solemn Judgment, but the Gaia the Dragon Champion deck also responds with the Solemn Judgment, so this is not looking good for the Beaver Warrior player at all, but it is fine. We draw something good. Nope, Starlight Road, that sucks. So he ends his turn because he does not want to clog his field with that Starlight Road, and the 2 Gem Merchants in his hand are absolutely doing nothing. And yeah, he summons the Prisma just to add more pressure. And yeah, so he's gonna not use the effect, just attack over, and then poke for 1700. Nope, 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 nope. He's gonna deprison the fucking Prisma. And then he activates Call of the Haunted, getting back Gaia the just Gaia the Fierce Knight, but and attacks directly, and the Beaver Warrior player responds with Magic Cylinder. I'm having such a hard time keeping up with this duel. But yes, it does not look good since he did not draw into what he needed. He drew into a bottomless trap hole, which is too little too late for that card, I'm afraid. But he's going to set the Gem Merchant in a just futile attempt to try to live an extra turn. He might get away with it, and he summons the Summoner Monk. Is he going to use the effect? He does, in fact, use the effect, discarding his Summoner's Art, since it's pretty useless at this point. And then he special summons a Elemental Hero Prisma, the third one out of his deck. Now he's viewing the deck to use Elemental Hero Prisma's effect and sends Curse of Dragons to the graveyard. Now he overlays and goes for Diagusto Emerald, and the Beaver Warrior player responds with a bottomless trap hole, getting rid of that said emerald. And Elemental Hero Stratos attacks over the Gem Merchant, and then the Gaia, the Fierce Knight, then attacks directly, which is very sad face since the Beaver Warrior player needs something good here, and it is not what he needed, but he will keep pushing on for whatever reason. Yes, so the Gaia, the Fierce Dragon Champion guy summons another Summoner Monk, showing that he has a lot better cards than the said Beaver Warrior player, which is very sad. But the Summoner Monk then goes to defense mode, then discards his Polymerization and special summons a DD Warrior Lady from his deck, then overlays for a something of the sorts like, I don't know, we're going to find out in half a second. What will he choose? He will be looking at the extra deck some more, and looking at his graveyard, and then looking at the extra deck, and then goes for Diagusto Emerald. Holy shit, he already did this play before, but he did it again. But whatever, he's going to use this effect. And I'm going to be like, okay. The Beaver Warrior player is going to be like, okay. And then he gets out a second Gaia, the Fierce Knight. It is not looking too good for the poor Dirt McMuffin. And then he overlays into Big Eye, the Gaia, the Dragon Champion deck. And he takes the poor Gem Merchant. So, yes, that's pretty much what's going on so far. The safe zone's really hurting out the Beaver Warrior player. But instead of losing, he decides to activate MST to destroy the Gaia the Champion. So, we've destroyed the Gaia the Champion, but then lost the duel, so that sucks. But yes, this is a match duel if you did not realize. And he is going to be done siding without siding at all because neither player decided to side. And right now we're looking at the Beaver Warrior deck. It's a very magnificent deck, I would say. And yes, the Beaver Warrior player will be going first this time. This hand is very, very interesting, I would say. Not drawing a single Beaver Warrior or a triple tanky or a bear, which is pretty sad face. But the Beaver Warrior player is going to set one card and pass his turn, and the God of Games player summons DD Warrior Lady and pokes for 1500. That's not fun at all. And then he activates Summoner Monk, adding Curse of Dragons to his hand for future use, possibly. And then he sets one back row. Then he sets another. The Beaver Warrior player sets another face down card, and then DD Warrior Lady pokes for another 15. At this point, the Beaver Warrior player should probably use a card, but he's not going to. He is so stingy. But he's hoping to get more use out of it, which is pretty much what it comes down to. And yeah, then the Beaver Warrior player responds with a Dimensional Prison, and the God of Games player is asking why not use it in the first place, and I wanted to keep it. I liked it. I thought maybe I could get more use out of it, but whatever. I was hoping to draw a monster by that point, and yeah, so the Beaver Warrior player is going to set yet another back row, since he cannot seem to find a monster anywhere in his deck, even though he runs a decent 10 or so, plus 3 searchers. So yeah. So the Beaver Warrior player is going to set another back row, because he would have to discard if not. The God of Games player activates Duality, getting all 3 pieces of the Dragon Champion deck, or Dragon Champion guy, and adds Polymerization, putting back the 2 vanillas back into his deck. Then he activates Summoner Monk, adding Gaia the Fierce Knight to his hand. Getting winded here because 18 minutes, but yeah. The Beaver Warrior player finally draws a monster. Will he summon that monster? And he does. He summons the Gem Merchant just to try to poke, since it's a very slow game so far. And he said it was okay, so he just attacks and pokes for 1000, getting in all that glorious damage. So the God of Games player activates Polymerization in the face of 3 back row. Who was he thinking? But he activates Bottomless Trap Hole, and he responds with Safe Zone, so that's no fun at all. Then he attacks over, I'm sure, We'll see what he does. He does decide to attack, and he attacks over the poor gem merchant, and my screen is going black. So there we go. And yes, he attacks, dealing 1600 damage. The Beaver Warrior player activates Heavy Storm, hitting all the back row plus one of his own, getting rid of 2 safe zones, which is very nice. And then he's setting so many cards. He set 6 cards. Oh my god, he set 6 cards. Not afraid of Heavy Storm because fuck Heavy Storm. And that's pretty much the motto I go by. But he finally draws the Beaver Warrior. He reveals the Beaver Warrior and summons the Beaver Warrior, activating Seal of Orichalcos to give that Beaver Warrior 1700 attack points. Now the God of Games player sets 1 back row, ends his turn. Then the Beaver Warrior attacks directly in his dimensional prison, but he responds with the compulsory evacuation device, then summons the Beaver Warrior again. The Beaver Warrior is unstoppable, I'm afraid. Well, Beaver Warrior player summons Giant Rat, so that's 19 and 17 on board. He responds with the Call of the Haunted, and the Beaver Warrior player responds with a Solemn Judgment to get rid of that card right then and there. Then 1700 points of damage, and then he attacks directly twice, which is way too good, I'm afraid. Beaver Warrior player ends his turn. He looks like he's got him stunned. Does he actually? He activates Polymerization, and he gets out Gaia the Fierce Knight, or the Dragon Champion Guy, whatever the fuck. Very hard to figure out. But yes, he does summon, and does he attack? He can run straight into a magic cylinder if he does not watch out. Does he? Oh, Polymerization is added with King of the Swamps. What a useless card. And then activates Summoner Monk or Summoner Art, whatever, to add Gaia the Fierce Knight, just to deck thin, just a little bit. And then he summons Prisma. Prisma does, in fact, go through, and he activates the effect. He sends Curse of Dragon to the graveyard after accidentally banishing it because dumb. Then he activates another Polymerization to get out another Dragon Champion. Yes, but does he run into the magic cylinder? Does he run into the magic cylinder that might be set? I think it is. Who knows? Is he asking? Yes, he's attacking. He's attacking. And does he respond? He responds. Does he respond? Does he respond, I am asking. I'll wait. I'll wait, Beaver Warrior player. Stop talking, please. Stop talking, please. Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus Christ. I forgot that God of Games player actually had to go at one point, but he pauses and now he comes back. And yes, the Beaver Warrior player activated Magic Cylinder, finishing off the game, and that was it. So, now they're going into Game 3. Who will win the slobber knocker that is Beaver Warrior versus Gaia, the Dragon Champion? And we are waiting on him once again. Waiting on the poor Gaia, the Dragon Champion deck, to finish siding, which he's not actually doing, but yeah, he's waiting. So we're waiting some more, and yeah, I'm going to tell you a couple more times that we are in fact waiting on Gaia, the Dragon Champion, and running out of ways to stall at this point. So I'm going to take a sip of drink, and you guys can listen to it, because I don't have anything else to do. So yeah, sorry. Actually drinking Mountain Dew today. Mountain Dew is pretty good, I would say, and yeah, when you're playing your Yugi Mans, Mountain Dew helps out with everything. I'm not sure why I kept recording this. It really should have been paused, but I'm pretty sure he comes back because I wouldn't leave this in but for so long. And you can watch me talk in the chat thing with my good pal Ironclad Wolf, who does in fact play with me on every tag duel I do pretty much. But the Game 3 now begins, and the Gaia the Dragon Champion deck will be going first. He activates Summoner's Art, and he will be adding either Curse of Dragons or Gaia the Dragon Guy, or Gaia the Fierce Knight, which he does add. And then he reveals 3 cards, and then he's going to add Summoner Monk to his hand off the duality and put the other 2 back. And then we'll see if he has a play from there. He summons Elemental Hero Prisma, and then adds Curse of Dragon by mistake, and then sends Curse of Dragon to the graveyard. Well, what will the Beaver Warrior player do in this predicament? And as you can see, Dueling Network does not like Beaver Warrior deck very much because it keeps giving it really shitty hands, I would say. Not seeing a Beaver Warrior plus getting 2 Gem Merchants is not what this deck is meant to do. But the Gaia the Dragon Champion deck activates Mirror Force, but he responds with the Safe Zone, which has pretty much been the bane of Beaver Warrior's existence at this point. But the Beaver Warrior deck does in fact draw into a tanky finally after much delay, and then summons Beaver Warrior. Summons the Beaver Warrior, and what does he do? Is he going to go into battle phase? The Beaver Warrior player activates Mystical Space Typhoon to destroy that safe zone, destroying Gaia the Dragon, or Gaia the Fierce Knight. It is so confusing. But the Beaver Warrior player sets 2 back row and passes. He summons, or the Gaia the Dragon Champion deck summons Summoner Monk, and then discards the spell card to add your summon Stratos, then add Prisma. But he goes into Die Gusto Emerald, whatever, and then yeah, he gets back Gaia the Fierce Knight, Jesus Christ. Then he'll be sitting on that. Does he decide to play more cards? I think he does. He then decides to banish a Light and a Dark. Oh Jesus, it's BLS. BLS the Saki card himself. So he's going to summon the BLS. Is he going to attack in the face of 2 back row? Is he going for the Saki win? Well, let's see what happens. There's no back row. Is he going to get out of this? Well, he waits till a damage step. Is there going to be a response? Damage step. Yes. Oh, he's going to use 2 gem merchants to attack over the BLS. So Beaver Warrior is much stronger than BLS by 200 in fact. But yes, it does stall for another turn, but we had to go -2 just to get over that single BLS. It's pretty sacky, I would say. But yes, the Beaver Warrior player draws into the creature swap. And then does he activate the said creature swap? He does in fact activate creature swap, and does it go through? I think it gets Solemn Judgment. It might get Solemn Judgmented. This is a very old duel if you did not know. But yes, it does in fact get Solemn Judgmented, which is not very good at all because, yeah, that's no fun. The Beaver Warrior player is not in a very good predicament at this point, and he might just scoop soon. But yes, with the Starlight Road and the Call of the Haunted, we really are not looking too good here. The Beaver Warrior player turns Beaver Warrior into defense mode on his opponent's turn, but that's alright. Nobody cares. Well, he summons the Prisma, sending Gaia the Fierce Knight to the graveyard. I finally said it right. Then getting back another Gaia the Fierce Knight, and it's not looking too good from this point. I think he has an OTK. But no, he does not. But he attacks over the poor Beaver Warrior, then attacks directly with 18, attacks directly with 23, and then attacks directly again with 23. So the Beaver Warrior player needs a good draw here, and he gets a Seal of Orichalcos. So that's pretty much game. So yeah, the Beaver Warrior deck has fallen. He's fallen and he cannot get back up. But he's just going to crash into the Prisma because it's pretty obvious it's game. So yeah, this is pretty much the 6 to 9 subscriber special because Beaver Warrior is so good. And when we get to 100, I guess we'll see a reappearance of the Beaver Warrior deck. So if you enjoyed, like, and if you want to say something, comment, and if you want to see more, subscribe, since we need to get to 100 very quickly. Because, yeah, more Beaver Warriors. And, yes, thanks for watching if you did watch all this far, and this is really hard. Thanks, and goodbye, everyone.